Yes. Well, I started teaching in the state of New Mexico, which is in the American Southwest. I taught primary and secondary age students in a private school. And then I went to Kansas, which is in the Midwest, and I taught pre-K, so that would be primary and secondary school. And I taught art and English there as well. I taught art and English in New Mexico as well. And I was able to also teach gifted and special needs students. So I'm getting more well-rounded as an educator, being able to teach different levels of students, not just in age, but in skill level, which really made me grow to be a better teacher. Gifted program students were students who are accelerated in content areas, in arts and English. And special needs students are students who are handicapped in wheelchair or have different imperatives. And so I was able to work with them, which I really enjoyed, because I like to be an all-around and fully accessible to my students of all different creeds and backgrounds. I then went to Iowa and taught art and English, primary and secondary school. And I was also able to teach not only in the primary and secondary schools, but I'm also able to teach in the private sector. So I'm teaching in all the different levels of education that is provided in the States.
Yeah.
Then I decided, well, I would really like to know what it's like overseas, how students are educated overseas, and if I could learn different styles. I think it's very important to learn different styles, not to limit yourself to one teaching style, and to incorporate different cultural techniques into my lessons, and be diverse. One of my favorite mottos in education is unity and diversity, which I learned from the South Africans. And to incorporate all cultures and to make sure all my lessons are related to their lives, the students' lives. And so I decided I made a list of all the countries I wanted to go to, and I took a dice and I rolled it, and China was the first one that landed on the dice. So I went to China first, and I taught English and arts in both the private and public schools. So the average class size in the private schools was, say, 16 students. And in the public schools, I had 45 students in a classroom. So,
in China?
Yeah, in China. So it was just an amazing experience, the difference between the different kinds of education that's provided. And I really like immersing myself in the culture when I go overseas. And it allowed me to do that when I'm able to teach in another country for an extended period of time. I could really immerse myself in their culture and learn as much from them as they learn from me. And I think that makes me not only a better teacher, but it also gives me a better understanding and tolerance of another culture, which we seriously lack of in America. After China, I went to Saudi Arabia, and I taught for 2 years in art and English. And it was just amazing at the cultural difference, because it's very religious, restricted in the Middle East. And we get a very narrow viewpoint on what that culture is like. And there's very little understanding, and we get a very negative viewpoint of the Middle East. And so I really enjoy going to these countries and seeing with my own eyes what it's really like, and formulating an opinion of my own, and learning what it from them. And there are a lot of positives in all cultures. And there's amazing things and wonderful things to learn from all cultures.
Yeah.
My goal is to teach and live in all of the continent. So not only I can be a better teacher, but I can have a better understanding of all cultures. Well, the greatest asset I have, my greatest strength, is that I have taught all levels of education, both young students and older students. I have taught in public and private schools. I have learned a lot of different techniques, games, and songs from all the different cultures, and I incorporate those in my own teaching style. So I play a lot of games from all the cultures that I have learned from, and I will learn even more when I get to your camp. And I will incorporate them into my lessons. And the students will be encouraged to try out new mixed media in the lesson, and they want to explore different areas using different games and techniques to learn a new language. And it's a lot of fun. I always try to have fun. I want to have fun at summer camp just like the students do. And so we will play games, we will get to know each other while we learn, and the greatest asset is, and the most important thing, is to relate all the lessons to the students' lives, no matter in what country you're in. The reason why I picked Italy is because when I was at the university studying as a student, as an artist, I wanted to be an artist and an art teacher. Not just an English teacher, but we studied a lot of art history, especially in the Renaissance and the Impressionist artists, and a lot of the famous artists are from Italy. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to come to summer camp in Italy is to not only teach, but to see firsthand what I studied from my school too. And like the most fun the antidote that I see in teaching is being able to share our cultures. And I'm a foodie, so I like learning from other cultures through food and through going on field trips and totally immersing myself into your culture and sharing your culture, whether it's through food, whether it's through touring the local areas. And not just language. Learning a foreign language shouldn't be just regulated to the language itself. It should be incorporate the entire aspect of that culture and the environment. And that's the greatest antidote. I'm very pleased to have met you, and I look forward to meeting you in person and working with you. And I really look forward to meeting all the boys and girls at summer camp and getting to know them. I hope we can get to the point where we know each other by our names. And we are like a second family. We become a second family.
See you.
Bye-bye.